What is up, and welcome back. I'm out for a little walk, thought I'd get some steps in, and you know what, I thought I'd do a video on bulking because I've had a lot of questions about it, a lot of questions about my bulking phase that I'm in now, and some advice basically. So the way I see it is, so straight from the top, right, and watch the full video because I'm going to be explaining why I'm saying this. If you are not a bodybuilder, you should not bulk, straight up. You should mean gain. You should mean gain in long periods and then have little cutbacks. I'm going to go into and explain what mean gaining is, when you should cut back, and the main focuses of a mean gain, how they put it. So essentially what a mean gain is being in a very slight calorie surplus with the focus primarily on muscle gain with not much fat gain. So you're not going to see the scales rocket like you do in a bulk, but you are going to see muscle gain. So you want to be looking for somewhere around 200 to 400 calorie surplus per day. This is what I've been doing for the last 10 weeks. And in the last 10 weeks, I've gained 8 pounds on the scales. I have a set of Wyden scales, so it tells you the body composition. And I know, before anyone sees, they're not bang on accurate, right? However, I've gained 8 pounds. Currently Wyden scales, 1.5 pounds of that has been muscle, and around 6.5 pounds of that has been fat. And I have not been in a huge calorie surplus. I've been gaining somewhere around 0.7 to a pound per week on the scales on average, and my strength has been going up, PBing in stuff across the board, which then links into muscle gain. So yes, I have gained muscle, I have gained strength, I've gained size, I can feel my clothes fitting tighter, although some of it is fat, yes, a bit of it will be muscle. Now I'm into a point where I'm going to do a little cut back, reason being I'm going to Marbella, I want to look nice and trim again. But if I wasn't, I could continue mean gaining, I could continue pushing this. People who bulk, where they just start tossing in calories for the sake of tossing in calories, find themselves in a position very, very quickly where they have gained a lot of surplus body fat and pretty much the same amount of muscle, maybe a tiny bit more, maybe a little smidge more than if you mean gained, because you can only gain muscle at a certain rate. It doesn't matter if you eat 1,000 calorie surplus, 1,500, 2,000, you're not going to build muscle any quicker. You're just going to gain more fat. So this is for the people who aren't bodybuilders, by the way. If you want to stay in shape, which is kind of the fucking goal of it, isn't it? To go to the gym, you want to be in shape. You don't want to be heavily overweight, trying to gain muscle because you're eating 5,000 calories a day, smashing dominoes every week to get the calories in. That's not the point of the fucking gym, right? The gym is there to be healthy, it's there to feel good, look good. So if you can keep relatively low body fat, somewhere on the top end, 14%, and then when you hit that marker, you start to drop back. So essentially what I'd advise is when you start to see the midsection definition go, the abs start to disappear. That is a marker in the sand to say, yeah, let's start a cut back. Cut back until you're nice and trim again, fresh. Maybe it's 4-6 weeks. In a 4 to 6 week cut, you're not going to be losing much muscle, and then starting the mean gain again, up to around 40%. Repeat. People who push up to 20-25% body fat in a gaining phase or bulk will then have the massive job of a 12, 16, 20 week cut to get them back into a good position. And in that time, they will also be losing a lot of muscle mass because you're going to be in a calorie deficit for a prolonged period of time. So essentially, if you don't want to become fat for the sake of a tiny little bit extra muscle, which you're probably going to lose in a deep cut anyways. Like if you're a bodybuilder, yeah, prolonged periods of bulking in an off season with little mini cuts along the way can be beneficial to get that extra pound, that extra couple of pounds of muscle on the frame that you need to take a stage. I ain't disputing that. So any bodybuilders watching this, don't think this is applying to you. Of course, I will be going into a bulk later on after this little cut to get back and sharpened up for Marbella. It doesn't apply to you. It applies to general population, people who want to be in shape, want to feel good and look good, right? Yeah. So what I would do if I was looking to gain muscle, and this is something I advise you to do, is find out your maintenance calories. What are you consuming on the daily, calorie wise, to maintain your current weight with training, with cardio? Increase that by about 200 to 300 per day. carbohydrates if you're hitting your protein goals. So make sure your protein goals hit, make sure you've got enough fats in for your bodily functions, health, hormones, etc. So you're looking around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, lean pound of body weight. Going a bit higher on the protein isn't going to kill you. So if you go a bit higher on the protein, that's absolutely fine. Fats, minimum, I would say like 40 grams per day for the average man. I normally try to keep around 20 to 25% of my daily intake from fats, with a 40 gram as a bottom end when I'm cutting, and the rest of from carbohydrates. So once you've hit the fat, once you've hit the protein, your carbohydrates start to scale up. This is going to give you better performance in the gym, be able to lift better, be able to lift more, be able to get a bit more aggressive because you've got that extra energy in the gym. So that's what I would advise. Around 200 to 300 calorie surplus, run it for a week, run it for 2 weeks, and the main thing you want to be focusing on is performance in the gym. I cannot highlight this enough, right? So if your scale weight is moving 0.3, 0.5 pounds a week, but you're getting PBs every fucking week, why would you put more food in? You're still progressing in the gym, you're still getting stronger, and that is a sign of muscle growth. Another 0.5 pounds on the scales, brilliant, more PBs. Another brilliant, more PBs. Once you see your performance start to drop off, once you start to see a couple of weeks go by and you're like, I'm not really getting what I'm getting, yeah, bit more food in, bit more calories in, you'll start to get a bit more energy to help push on it further. But people concentrate on the scale weight far too much, and it's like, I've gained 12 pounds in the last month, I'm bulking. Yeah, mate, you've gained maximum like a pound of muscle, maximum, realistically, and the rest is going to be fat. Like, in your new beginning phase, you're going to be flying. You're going to be gaining muscle like fucking never before, and never again. But you're past the newbie phase, you're in your maximum strength that you're currently capable of. You're going to be gaining maximum £1 to £2 if you're fucking lucky. If everything's dialed in and you've got great genetics and your testosterone's at a brilliant level, £2 of muscle in a month is fucking insane. So say about £1 of muscle a month. If you put 12 pounds in the scales, that's 11 pounds of fat. That's got to come back off. So really don't do it. Don't be suitable and don't be shoving the calories in like never before. Nutrition, keep it clean. Keep it good, keep it tidy. Yes, allow yourself a bit less restricted eating. So if you do fancy something once every couple of weeks, have it. Make sure it's in your calorie goals. But keep the vast majority of your food good, clean foods, lean meats, not as heavily processed carbohydrates, healthy fats, your avocados, your olives, your nuts, these nuts. But just look at it as like a phase where your main priority is gaining muscle. Too many people look at gaining and be like, yeah, it's just a fucking eating phase. It's fucking not. It's not an eating phase. It's not a phase to get fat. It's not a phase to just go and scran dominoes and cakes every night. It's a phase that you should be looking at to see, right, how can I most effectively build muscle? And that is by getting very good nutrition, clean nutrition with micronutrient dense food in there, training fucking hard, sleeping well, recovering well. And in terms of training, so covered your goal, nutrition, and what you should actually be aiming for and what you shouldn't be doing. So in terms of training is split that you're going to be very consistent with. If that's 4 days a week, if that's 5 days a week. Make sure you try to hit every muscle group a couple of times per week with around 10 plus sets per muscle group. Train intense, train to failure. Doesn't have to be every set, but take 1 set of every exercise minimum to complete failure. If you can push past that with partials, with assisted reps, brilliant. You're in there to stimulate fucking muscle growth, right? And then make sure outside of the gym you're getting adequate rest, adequate recovery, sleeping 7-8 hours per night. You are having a good rest between training the same muscle group twice. And in terms of cardio, keep it in. So eat a bit extra food to be able to do that extra cardio. Cardio is going to help with your cardiovascular system, which helps recovery. So try to get your cardio away from training if you can. So if you do cardio in the morning, training in the afternoon, when I say train, I mean lifting weights, because cardio to me isn't training. It's not the purpose of what I'm doing, it's just cardio. Like if I was a runner, then the cardio will be training, but I'm a bodybuilder, so cardio to me isn't training, it's just an additional aspect. So lifting weights is training. So training away from cardio if you can. If not, I will put cardio at a low intensity to medium intensity. If you have medium intensity, getting your heart rate up to like 140, 150 beats per minute, obviously depending on your age, then 10, 15 minutes a few times a week, bang on, just to get your heart rate up there. Keep it there for a bit for health purposes. You're not in there to be shredding fat, obviously in a gaining phase, but just for health purposes. And then eat a bit extra food to offset that. Again, too many people drop cardio out because lazy cunts. I don't need cardio, kills gains. It doesn't kill gains, it really doesn't. And you're just going to be out of breath, feeling like a fat fuck while gaining, And then when you go back into a cut, that cardio is going to be such a shock to the system. It's going to be horrible. While if you keep it in, you're going to be fitter, you're going to be able to push harder in your sets because you've got a better cardiovascular system. You're going to be able to recover better because you've got a better cardiovascular system. You're probably going to fucking sleep better because you're not going to be lying there like a fucking rhinoceros hit with a tranquilizer dart, fucking struggling to breathe. So keep your cardio in, train fucking hard, keep your nutrition dialed in, and keep your mind on the prize, which is muscle gaining. It's not fat gain, it's not skills, it's muscle gaining. Then review the physique, cut back when you're getting a bit too fluffy, let's say, and then go again. And always try to keep yourself in around an 8 to 12 week maximum period to where you're going to say, yeah, holidays booked, 8-12 weeks, I can dial in, get dice for that, no worries. You never find yourself where you're like, oh no, can we push it back to 5 months because I'm fat as fuck because I've been bulking like a fucking hippopotamus. Like, it's just not worth it. And again, this does go out to the general pop. I understand bodybuilders have a different way of doing it because you can have a long off season. They're already planning when the shows are. It's all planned out. They understand that the prep is going to be very, very difficult, and you're going to cut in there towards the end of it. It's going to be hard, it's going to be a drag. But in general population, you don't want to be going through that. You're not a bodybuilder. You want to keep yourself very, very trim most of the time while being able to put on a bit of extra muscle in periods of gaining without getting too fat. But if anyone does have any questions on bulking or anything like that, drop me a follow on Instagram, coach_Kelly_EC. And if you have any questions on your goals or want to work with me as a coach, drop me a message and we can get started. Coach Kelly out.